Welcome to Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios, the place where we explore the art of producing art. I'm Steve Sue with my buddy,
Crystal Backey, and we're here with Wayne Grieve.
Wayne, thanks for coming on. Now, you have this tremendous background as a musical theater performer. We're going to get to some of those shows later on. I don't want to make this like the biography of you, but what are we covering today in the show, Crystal?
We're going to talk about how you can crush a theater audition.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you've crushed a lot of them, right?
I've done a lot of auditions. Auditions can be very terrifying.
Can you just briefly, just give us your top three like musical theater performances from your standpoint as a performer? What was your best?
When I was very young, I loved playing Joe Cable in South Pacific. It was one of my favorites. It's an old Rodgers and Hammerstein. And so lots of wonderful melodies and tunes, which I very much like, rather than some of the modern musicals that they produce today.
Do you always sing in an English accent? Does that work in an audition too?
Well, it does work, unless you're performing something that requires an American accent. You know, you speak and sing with an American accent. Mm-hmm. I speak and sing with a British accent.
Okay.
But if the song requires an accent, because it's based on an American piece of music, then you do it accordingly.
So top tip for going into an audition?
Top tip, you've got to be very well prepared. You've got to do your homework. You've got to look at the actual musical itself that you're auditioning for. Sometimes they require you to sing something that is part of the musical, a musical number. Sometimes it can be a case of choosing one of your favorites that suit your voice, that actually is the vocal range of one's voice. And that's very important, to find a range that can show off your voice, because it's about showing off the talent that you have.
So Crystal wants to audition.
I do want to
audition.
Yeah. So you have to do like research before you audition to any...
Well, yes, you have to be prepared. So you have to prepare your voice, importantly, to get your voice in tip-top shape, which can include vocal lessons, and warm your voice up before you take your audition. Warm it up by doing exercises to get the vocal cords stretching.
So when you're in the waiting room for your audition, is everybody like warming up and doing all kinds of bubble blowing and stuff?
Occasionally.
Me, all about me.
Yeah, it's all about me. Everybody's looking at each other in a threatening manner. No. They're all very friendly generally. But of course, it can be quite daunting when you're sat in a room waiting for your turn.
What do you do to warm up your voice? Just do it.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you do to handle your nerves?
Yeah, well, nerves, are part of being good, by the way. To feel a little nervous and a little
it's a good
anxious.
thing.
It's a good thing, because it
really
produces the adrenaline in your body.
Yeah.
And so nervous performers very often do the best performance because their adrenaline is at a height that is very important, I think.
And you have to prevent your voice from being really shaky when you're nervous. Do you have that goes into practice?
Yes, here's an example. I put my hands in my pockets sometimes to stop the nerves for maybe a few seconds, and it calms me down, and I pull my hands out from my pockets very casually.
You know what? In business speeching practice, they teach you not to put your hands in your pocket because it looks like you're playing pocket polo. So just so you know.
I don't even know what pocket polo is.
You don't want to know.
You will one day, but we won't explain it on this show.
Well, you can. They want to know. Demonstrate, Wayne.
No.
By Wayne,
well, I won't demonstrate pocket balling, but I will demonstrate.
He calls it balling. Does that help?
I feel like I know.
Oh yes, balls. Just think of balls.
Yeah.
Tennis balls, golf balls.
Yeah. Calm those balls down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Slow them down.
So no, you warm up your voice first thing in the morning before you went to the audition, and indeed at the audition too. Mm-hmm. So, and it's not just. In fact, the preparation might start several days before you go to your audition. So you're working on the piece that you've chosen to sing, and you're at the same time you're vocalizing to get the vocal cords stretching, and like an athlete would go out and do a workout before they do a 100-yard sprint. You have to prepare the voice. And that gives you the advantage above some of your competitors that perhaps might have just come into the studio totally unprepared, and some do.
And when you go and how do you make the best first impression? Because you walk into the room, they see you.
Yeah.
And then how do you make the best first impression?
Well, you've got to walk in pretty confidently.
Yeah.
Walking in a shy and although it can work both ways, but they want someone that's going to walk in there with confidence, that they know that this person has the plus factor. Where they're all looking for a performer that has got maybe star quality.
There's not a shy bone in this man's body.
Oh, I don't know.
He breaks out into song just spontaneously. And anytime, like right now, see? Sing us a song right now, like 2 bars.
2 bars. I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. The atmosphere is always clear around me. That's enough.
You got the part.
I got the part.
You got the part. See how
I'm
that
in
works?
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
That's from
He
Sunset
could be in a
Boulevard.
coffee shop and he'll do that. And somebody's
I
like,
love
I want
it.
you in my show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I always used to say, wouldn't life be wonderful if it was the whole day was a musical, and you could go walking around the supermarket, the mall, and singing of joy, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Wow.
Like
Life
La
is-
La Land.
Love was yes, music is wonderful, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of okay, you do preparations to go into your audition, and just how else do you crush an audition?
Okay, so you need to know your the piece of music very well. You need to learn it by heart. You don't sing with the lyrics in front of you.
Yeah.
So you have to memorize the piece. You have to listen to the tune that you're going to be singing to know it off by heart. Sometimes you take your music to the musician, and generally it's a piano and a pianist. So, and you hand it to him, and you would explain the tempo that you would want it in. And if he's a good pianist, in fact, that's the ideal, is that you get a great pianist that knows how to accompany. It's an art to find someone that listens to the voice that they're playing for, and they follow you. You don't follow them. He follows you. You go. You start and.
What if they're not so good?
Keep going.
I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you just got to keep going. If he's doing bum notes or
if they're
he's
going
too
faster
slow
than
or too
you.
faster.
Yeah. That's hard.
I mean, it's possible to say, excuse me, but can you slow this piece down? It's quite normal to do that. But on the whole, the musician will follow you reasonably well. But, we all have an off day. And so maybe some days it might not be quite as smooth as you'd like it to be.
So who's usually sitting on the other end of the table, rating you? And what do they care about?
So there would be the director of the piece, the musical director, maybe one or two other production people that are actually out on the main table that are watching you, listening to you, discussing you, by the way, whilst you're actually singing.
Oh, really?
But you ignore that completely, and you go into your own kind of space and just look out as if you have an audience right there in front of you.
Okay. Cool.
And
You ready to do that?
Yeah, that sounds like I don't know. I feel like I'm nervous.
But that's good energy, remember?
Right.
Put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Just don't jingle the keys.
No, but it nerves are part of an audition, and
I can't imagine you getting nervous for anything.
oh my gosh, I'm actually right now. I started
Really?
off fine, but I'm feeling a little.
We must
bit,
be somebody's. He's nervous,
yes,
huh?
You are everybody, you guys. That's what it is. It's slightly, just slightly on the edge here, just a bit, but comfortable.
Yeah, because you're glowing.
I'm glowing. It's because
Yeah.
I washed my face this morning. I washed my hands and face before I come. I did. That's from My Fair Lady.
You should have
Eliza Doolittle.
sang it for
I
us.
could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I only know what made it so exciting. For until one no, see, I haven't rehearsed that piece. That was completely.
You still get the part.
I've got it.
You got
Great. There's an example of not. I haven't sung that song.
But you
for a very long
committed.
time. Yeah. You own the song.
Yeah.
So you know, even though I'd sung several bars, really quite great. Toward the end, I'd forgotten the words a little. That happens with age too.
Oh. But if you were auditioning, you would have been right on point. You
I
would
would
have
have
known
been
it.
right on point. You've got to be. Why waste your time, their time?
Yeah. Does it matter what you wear?
Sometimes people, and sometimes I've dressed in appropriate costume, but generally pretty casual, depending on the piece. Women in particular tend to characterize with their dress by wearing something that might be appropriate for, what shall we say?
The part?
Cabaret. If you were auditioning for Cabaret and for Sally Bowles, you might have makeup that is similar to what she has worn.
You would like that. That's fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. I used to do theater makeup.
Oh, you did? Really?
Yeah.
You learned that yourself? Or?
I guess like I just followed what everyone else did, and yeah.
Cool.
And I find it fun. So if you do make a mistake, like, do you address it, like, or do you just keep going?
You keep going. You never stop.
Gotcha.
Tell us
And
your
it's
best behind the scenes story of an audition. It could be a train wreck. It could be a great conquest.
I was sat next to Colm Wilkinson, who was, now he's a great baritone that sang in Les Miserables at the National Theatre in London. He played Jean Valjean, and he was sat right next to me in the audition room to go and sing for another musical, which was Sunset Boulevard, actually. And indeed, to be in that same room with someone who was already, if you like, a star, even starry people get to sit in the same room and are treated equally as the lesser known singer. I can't say that it was particularly funny, but it was an exciting
So did that
moment.
make you gulp?
Oh my God, gulp indeed.
Oh no, oh no. I hope I get to go before him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, when you're listening to other people audition before you, you hear all these other different voices and you think, good God, that's good. And you do your own critique while you're in there. It's interesting.
But there's something about like not comparing yourself to like feel like, is there like a way to approach that where
A human being, it's natural to assess other people and what they're doing. None of us want to copy. My voice is my voice. It's a unique voice. That's how I like to think of it. I didn't train to make my voice sound like Nat King Cole or Tom Jones or
Hugh Grant.
Or Hugh Grant. Oh, although I have to say, I have been
Kinda.
told
He
that-
copied you, right?
Yeah, he copied
Yeah, I
me.
knew that. I knew
Yeah.
that.
It has been said in the past that You speak just like Hugh Grant, but
Yeah.
that's not at all true.
Not it. But it doesn't matter because you're much better looking,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yes,
right.
of course.
You're so flattering, Steve.
Yeah, well, I'm the president of his fan club, you know.
So do you want to seriously get into the theatre?
I want to just be on stage. I think about when if you know something, like there's an open mic and everything just feels kind of different, but then if you're on stage and you have some like people around you that are doing the same number and you're doing it in consecutive nights, you would eventually feel confident, right? Like
Yeah.
about like I want to feel what that feels like when you're like, oh, night 7. You're
Yes.
like, okay, let's do it, and then you're just like it's second nature. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm curious to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard doing a long run to do a show.
You know what? Let's do another podcast on that. That would be a really good subject.
That
So
would
let's
be a
stop
good
this one and we'll cue it up and do that one because you've done all these long runs, right?
Oh my, and
Right
you know,
on.
it requires determination and
Yeah, chutzpah,
discipline.
gusto.
Discipline.
Okay, and
hard
with
work.
that, now you know, Crystal, how to audition
Yes.
and
crush
it. Right. Wayne, thank you so much.
It's
You're a
been my
star.
pleasure.
You truly are.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank
you,
you.
Steve.
And so if anybody out there is watching and they're like the casting person or the producer, how do they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me via you, Steve.
Fan Club President. All right. Well, and for us at ID8 Studios, you can find us at id8studios.org. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.